add to it? Do. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Perspectives. I'm your host, Sam Jones. We begin today with John Hall. Now, John is a fellow that you enjoy having next door to you because he's a walking encyclopedia of what's going on. And the lady that's seated right next to him is Dr. Lana Turner. I kept trying to make that a movie star from the 1950s or 40s. Anyway, it's good to have you both here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I get the impression that things are popping behind the scenes with the Greenwood Corporation. Am I right? Are things starting to pick up steam?
Absolutely. We are at a point where momentum is gaining. We've had a couple of significant milestones that happened this year. One, Greenwood Legacy Corporation received its tax exemption status. And the second being the recruitment of an executive director, which I am the inaugural executive director. I'm 2 weeks in, excited and ready to implement the master plan.
So things are going to get underway pretty quick.
Absolutely.
Dr. Turner, we were talking before we started taping about some of the elements that are coming together in working with the City Council of Tulsa. Have you seen the kind of response from the council that you need to see?
We had initially seen the type of response that we needed to see up until the adoption of the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan and work moving forward through Community Governance Working Group and Advisory Group. At this moment in juncture, we do feel confident that we have the support of the whole entire city council. There is some questions, and as we moving forward, how to best manage the land and the transfers and things like that, and some trust issues. One of the things we always know is that we have to work on building trust. The element involved is we're in the incubation stage, moving from incubation to independence, but we're so excited about we're getting closer to that because we did receive our 501c tax exempt status, and we did hire, we completed a great hire in John Hall to help us really move the work forward. So with some of those things and the fact that there's some distrust, and primarily among just a city councilor, and it is because of the incubation stage, and we're working with Partner Tulsa, Tulsa Development Authority, and some past things that have been perceived as not being handled in a proper manner. So we continually need to work. This is a community-led process.
But this time you're doing it right.
We're doing it right. We're definitely doing it right.
Are you satisfied that the goals you've put in front of yourselves are attainable?
I am definitely satisfied that they're attainable. Now, is it going to happen overnight, everything? No, but are we going to move the needle to where we can really build intergenerational wealth for families? The simple answer is yes. I mean, sometimes that just starts with your mindset and your thinking and moving from there, and having this real access to opportunity to acquire the 56 acres of land to develop, and working with our friends, our neighbors, and the whole city of Tulsa and the residents.
John, you're in a position to see this thing almost like a rocket launch take off. I mean, it may be quiet right now, but you're going to have your hands full here very soon, aren't you?
That is true. And one thing that excites me about the master plan and that all of the community engagement that occurred prior to my arrival, when you ask about are the goals attainable, it's the vision of the community, what they want to see. And it's now up to my leadership and working with others to actually crunch the numbers and see how do we implement, making the plaza a cultural awareness site, basically a tourism destination for the whole country, and then also increasing rooftops and generating economic activity in the area.
There are a lot of folks who are new to this part of the country, and I'm not convinced that they know of what the area represents. At one time, it was known across the country as the Black Wall Street, and that's no exaggeration. But it was also a launching pad for writers, musicians, artists of all kinds, teachers, doctors, And nobody knows that outside of our little area. That's going to change, isn't it?
I would say it definitely is. And there are some historians out there. I know Dorothy Moses DeWitty, who passed away, who was the first African-American city councilor.
Yeah.
You got, from a musician standpoint, Leon Rollison, many people know him. That was his launching pad. But then you have Eddie Faye Gates, you know, who's a published author who interviewed many of the descendants and the race massacre victims in her book, Miss Lucy Cookies. So yeah, so now we have a bigger platform to make sure we get that information out and just celebrate all the accomplishments that we have made.
Will there be a blending of what you're both involved with and, say, for instance, Tulsa Public Schools to get an injection of the knowledge of the history taught on a stronger level so that they understand it on a more personal level?
I would say yes to that, and I would also love to share that Tulsa Public Schools, even in the Kirkpatrick Heights Greenwood Master Plan, their students actually were involved in that process and contributed to what they wanted to see.
Well, I understand, and according to my notes, you guys have worked 40 community meetings and events, connected with 1,000 residents, and been involved for 16 months of community-led planning here. So this is not a fly-by-night operation.
No, it's not. We have been very fortunate to have some great people to work with us. WRT consultants initially work with us. We have Haywood Burns Institute consultants working with us, Opportunity Accelerator. And now John has the opportunity to work with some additional consultants to help us move this work forward. So this is not something we have been talking about, but this is something that really has that real pathway to implementation, something that's going to live far beyond us. And when we talk about building wealth, we're not just talking about financial wealth. We're talking about just from, you know, your education, your health, all of it is included in what we mean when we're talking about building wealth for our families and residents.
Does it ever, this is kind of a ballpark question, but at night, when your head hits the pillow, this is for both of you, does it ever hit you the enormity of what you're taking on and what the probabilities of results might be?
For me, and what it really attracted me to apply for the position is the historical significance. Legacy is in our name, so Greenwood Legacy. I'm doing legacy work, or I will be leading legacy work to help generations after I'm well, long and gone. And so that is what excites me. It doesn't scare me. It excites me because I have the opportunity to make value-added contributions based on my experiences in the past and the work that I've done to now have this particular endeavor be really much the capstone of what I will do in my career and to help the community who has done the lead work. They need someone to actually help them implement.
It's a good answer. Good answer. Dr. Turner?
Man, I might just adopt that answer, but no. But no, it's legacy work, and I know it's enormous. And oftentimes, I don't even think about just how big this is, what we're doing, this endeavor. I just hit it from day to day and just keep trying to make more progress and just do the right thing because I know it's so important to our community. I live in North Tulsa. As I said, I was a lifelong resident, am a lifelong resident, and I see the injustice, and I've seen the injustice. I've even had opportunity to serve at the City of Tulsa as the Human Rights Director for 5 years, and I've worked in public education for 12 years, serving on the school board, so I know how important this is to our children and for our grandchildren to keep moving forward and not let some things seem so enormous that you can't take those steps forward toward getting it completed and getting it done. So I always try to work within this present, recognizing my past, but work within this present and moving things forward to help build brighter futures.
We're out of time, and it's a shame. Will you come back?
Certainly.
Yes.
Keep us posted on your
Yes.
progress.
Yes.
Well, we're as close as your phone, so just let us know, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
And Happy New Year.
And to you, and Merry Christmas to both of you.
Merry Christmas.
We're taping this before Christmas, so don't get on to me.
Happy holidays.
Right. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more, talking about Rogers County Youth Services with a lady named Kim Montgomery right after this. And we're back. Kim Montgomery with the Rogers County Youth Services joins us again to bring an update on the construction of the new campus. Welcome to have you.
Thank you so much for
Really
having me
good.
back.
Before we get into the new campus, a bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, we're a nonprofit agency that's been around for starting in 2026. It's going to be our 50th anniversary. So we're really excited about that. We began as a youth shelter. We've had a number of different locations that served us well at each phase. But currently, we're no longer a youth shelter. We focus on counseling. Everything we offer to our community is free. So free counseling ages 4 through 21. We also do prevention education in the schools. We're in all but one school district, covering about 47 classrooms, which rounds out to about 18% of the population in our county. And then we also have diversion services for kids who are first-time offenders. We want to help them avoid a life of crime. So that program has been going for about a year now. A lot of great success there. And then a long-term suspension for kids who are struggling there.
Well, and I want to get into this new campus situation in just a minute, but how are these youngsters identified? How do you get hold of them to work with them?
So on counseling, that can be a referral from anyone in the community. There might be a school counselor, a principal, a teacher, or a parent that would say, hey, my child needs some services, and there's a quick referral form on our website that they can go and put that in. We typically have kids in services within about 7 days, which is a pretty remarkable timeline to get people in that quickly. For the prevention, we have a wonderful prevention coordinator who goes out and she gets into the schools and has conversations with principals and counselors and says, this is the menu of what we can offer your school, and the school, based on their needs and what they see the kids are going through, they make a choice on the curriculum the prevention curriculum that we're going to give. And we get in there, and we've had, that has really grown this year. We've doubled in some areas for prevention. Diversion, those kids on first-time offender, that comes through the Sheriff's Department. Officer Carrie Taylor is the point person there. She filters through those. We also get referrals from OJA, which is Oklahoma Juvenile Affairs, when kids come through there. And then lastly, our U-Turn Academy, those are the kids who are on long-term suspension. Those come through the schools.
You don't seem jaded at all. You don't seem like it's a hopeless situation. You're optimistic about it, you're upbeat about it, and now we're talking about a new campus. Let's talk about this campus.
Yeah.
What do you got in mind?
We're excited. Hey, we purchased 9.3 acres. It's just south of Highway 20 West on South Haven. Up on the top of the hill, if anybody's been out that way, you've seen the steel going up. We've got our parking lot and our pad. The steel's going up. It's going to be an amazing 10,000 square foot building, which we desperately need. Right now, our office space, for every one office, we have 3 employees. So space is really tough for us.
Wow.
And we need it. This is a space, we've been around for 50 years now, and we're making plans so that we can grow into the next 50 years.
But it seems like it's just all of a sudden, boom.
Yes. Actually, when the pandemic hit, we were at about 4 to 7 counselors. After the pandemic, the need skyrocketed, and today we're up to 17 counselors, and in all our staff is about 35. And the need, even if a child doesn't need counseling, they need some extra support. That's why we offer those prevention services in the school. So yeah, it's a big need.
Where's the weakness? At home?
typically within the family unit, and we definitely identify that. You know, we're a youth services agency, but we also wrap around into the family. When we can identify what's going on there, we definitely offer support where we can with the families.
Very often, when an organization such as yours announces a plan for a new facility, which is what we're doing today,
Yep.
they're already planning ahead because they know that the need is such, they're going to have to expand even more. Are you looking at new endeavors to do that?
That is definitely the case. This 9.3 acres and the 10,000 square foot building, it actually has the capacity to go beyond that once we get this up and going, and also our services. We've seen over the last 50 years our services continue to grow. Am I looking this way? Oh yeah, there it is. It's so great, and I'm sorry I didn't get you a newer picture. If you really want to see it, you got to go by the site and see it. But it is going to be beautiful. When we did our groundbreaking out there, it just was a picture perfect spot, and we're really excited about it. You know, sometimes when it's counseling, another thing we learned in the pandemic is sometimes the best therapy is going for a walk outside. And when we're at our current location, we're right across from Claremore High School. That's not very confidential, and it's not very comforting to walk down a busy street. And this facility gives us that. And the building is also very open air with a lot of natural light.
And it lets people know that you're a rock solid organization.
Absolutely. 50 years strong, and continue to grow and meet the needs of our community.
Well, that's what I was going to say. If they know you're a solid group, but you still got to beat the drum for the dollar, don't you?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We've run into some hiccups getting the financing with some of our foundations, had some funds reallocated that we expected to get, but we're really depending on the community spirit of our county right now.
Well, listen, Kim, we're out of time, and you've given us a lot to digest and to think about. If somebody wants to help, wants to get involved, what do they do?
Head to our website, look for the Capital Campaign tab. There's information on there of the variety of different ways. Reach out to me. My email's kim@rcys.org or info@rcys.org, and I'd love to have a conversation.
Oh, thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Very much appreciate you, more than you know.
Yeah, thank you.
Short break. We'll be back with Julie Davis with the YWCA right after this. Julie Davis, CEO of YWCA Tulsa, is here to talk with us now about expanding their mission, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that. You've got a lot on your plate, kid.
We have a lot, yes. We have the opportunity to serve Tulsa in a wonderful way, which is great.
Well, I noticed we're also focusing now, and you may have been all along and I just missed it, on refugees.
Yeah, so
explain what you mean by that.
Yeah, so YWCA Tulsa is a social service agency that has been responding to the highest needs in the community since 1914. So we've been around for over 100 years, and have, in terms of serving immigrants and refugees, that legacy goes back to the 1940s even, whenever Jewish refugees and refugees from World War II were arriving in Tulsa, and fleeing the war, and also arriving and needing support in learning English and finding housing and employment and getting settled into the community. And so at that time we were offering English language classes and helped people as they got acclimated into the community. In 1984 we applied and became recognized as a DOJ accredited agency, meaning that we are a legal agency. We have a legal team with DOJ accredited representatives who are able to represent people on their pathway to citizenship. So for green cards, citizenship, etc. So we have a long history of serving people who arrive in our community as immigrants and refugees.
And blowing them out back in World War II, that had to be a shock, because not only did they lose their homes, but they came to a country that they didn't know, and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it. And many didn't speak English.
Yeah, Well, and I think that stands true today. So when someone comes as a refugee through the system, they don't get to choose what country they go to, what community they land up in. They just know that they are fleeing the persecution that they have in their home country, and are seeking somewhere where they can fulfill, the dreams that every human has.
So you've got quite a mission on your hands.
Yes.
It would astound me to have to face it if they pulled me out of Tulsa and sent me to, I don't know, Timbuktu or something. I wouldn't know how to function.
Yeah. No, I think what we see are that people are in whatever community you're working with are resilient, and often, people are fleeing a war, are fleeing threats of danger. If you think about in Tulsa, we have one of the largest Burmese community in the nation. And those are people who began coming over, actually connected with Oral Roberts in the late 80s, early 1990s, and have still continued to come into our community, fleeing persecution for practicing their faith as Christians in their home country. And so they're able to come here, and suddenly they are able to practice their faith freely. And over time, people they become welcomed into our community, and become your fellow coworker and your neighbor.
And you've probably found that very often a pat on the shoulder or a hug can go a great distance.
Yeah, I think everyone just wants to be in a place that's welcoming, and what we hear from so many of the people that we work with is that Tulsa and the surrounding areas are truly welcoming communities. And that, a lot, I remember whenever we were supporting some of the Afghan refugees who were arriving after fleeing the Taliban, one person said, the only place I'd ever heard of Tulsa was on the show Friends. And so one is just also a reminder of how small the world is, and how, we are all connected by TV shows and, pop culture and media.
Sure.
But now, he's like, I found a home here.
Any of them go through culture shock when they learn how much freedom they have here?
I think, for different communities, it can be different. We have had one team member, so we hire a lot of people from the communities we serve so the majority of our staff have arrived as a refugee or immigrant. And we did a day at the Capitol one day, and she was from Iraq, and we went up. We went into the Capitol, and we actually we went into the Senate and sat in the front and top and watched, and she was like, this could never happen. She's like, and she took pictures all day long, and she was like, this would never happen in my home country, of being able to participate, to talk to legislators, to be on the Capitol grounds. She was like, this would never happen.
That had to make you feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a reminder of just how...
You've opened the whole world for somebody. Mm-hmm. We are down to about 45 seconds. Mm-hmm. What do you need?
I think we are always looking for individuals that can support our work. You're welcome to donate to our mission, our organization at YWCATulsa.org. We're also looking for volunteers who can help, and we love to help people get connected to different communities that they might not be connected with. Mm-hmm. And so working with people who are immigrants, refugees, working with people who have experienced homelessness. And so
the best thing for them to do then is just contact the YWCA.
Absolutely.
Ask for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can ask for me. They can find different ways to either donate, get involved, participate in as a volunteer.
Julie, thank you for coming by. We really do appreciate it. I had no idea you guys were involved in so much.
Oh, yes.
Eliminating so much heartbreak, which is what you're doing. Mm. Anyway, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Good to have you here. We're all out of time. Thank you for being a part of it. We'll see you back here next time.